Emma Fox, present.
Maria Garcia, present.
Matthew Rathbun, present.
William Coates present.
Stephanie Calero, present.
Hey, Mary present. Sky Childress present.
Patrick Silva, present.
Paul, present.
That's good.
Because we didn't start recording until halfway through that, I just want to make note for the record, all counselors are in attendance in person, Cyrus absent. Dalton and Medina delegates are here.
All righty, moving forward, do we have any volunteers for the reading of the mission statement? Mr. Coates.
To support the evolving needs of the MSU Denver students by advocating in the best interest to enhance the university experience and opportunities.
Thank you so much. Moving with item C for approval of the agenda. Currently, the agenda is as is, printed out for you. If there's any changes that we need to make, right now would be the time. We have a motion to approve. Scott.
I want to make a motion to amend the agenda to end at 5:25 as previously agreed. This is just an error on my part for making the agenda.
Second.
Second. Any opposition? All right. This unanimously for the approval of the agenda, with the exception of adding closing at 5:25 instead of 5:30. Approval for general meeting minutes, the last meeting.
Sorry.
We lost some.
Oh, Marcus,
We can forget that.
yeah, we can just table that for now. For approval for previous meeting minutes. If that's noted to table in previous meeting minutes. Moving forward, public comment is usually 232, 347. Currently, do we have any members of the audience online? Yeah, no. Okay, see, we have no one online, no one present. We'll just continue on, but if someone does come in from the public during this allocated time, we'll give them the time that is expected to them. Move forward with here. I don't want to really waste too much of your time, and also want to make sure we have business going well. So I'll now hand it off to Vice Provost Sean Schaefer. Thank you, Patrick.
You won't be wasting my time, no matter how long we're here, so not a worry there. I've really come today to talk about the university and its reaccreditation. I don't know how familiar you are with the accreditation. All institutions of higher education have to be accredited if they are to receive federal Title IV funds, which is federal financial aid. And our accrediting body is the Higher Learning Commission. They reaccredited us on a 10-year cycle. We had our last reaccreditation visit in 2017. We then have a midterm visit that occurred for us in 2021. And you may recall 2021 was a bit of a entertaining year because it was spring of 21 and we were still in a mostly online operation. So we have a group of peer reviewers come in, visit us from HLC, typically a body of 6 to 7 individuals. They will be visiting us a little bit earlier than normal. We're actually going to go this fall. So September 28th and 29th, our peer reviewers will be here. In between now and then, we will be preparing for them an assurance argument. And if you go onto the Higher Learning Commission's website, you can look up the qualifications for accreditation. They have 18 different areas, kind of subcategories within that. We describe in the assurance argument a narrative that tells how we are doing to meet those requirements. And that's awesome, write a great narrative. But really the most important thing that we put down is the evidence of how we're doing that. And so my office is responsible for preparing that assurance argument and for putting together all the elements of, how we show our archival material and any evidence we have to indicate that we are meeting these goals. So we have been working on that. We actually started on this year, this version's draft actually started in August. We've recruited folks from across the institution. Most of it comes from academic affairs. But we have people in administration who are writing sections of it. We have people in operations that are writing sections of it, little bits and pieces here and there. We will be having a public meeting to discuss all this March 18th at St. Cajetan's. It's from, I want to say 9:30 to 11:15 that day. And it's largely a kind of go out to the community and say, hey, we have a draft that exists. And we want your feedback on things you think we need to include, not include, do better, et cetera. because you are the most logical first step in who you would ask. So we will be sharing with you the SharePoint when that's available. And so if you want to go in and make comments, you will be able to. We'll basically be taking comments throughout April, and then in May, shut that off, take everything that we've got from everybody and spend May and June putting it together. It is actually due to the Higher Learning Commission in August. Frankly, it will be done by July. I'm not really worried about that. We should be at least a month ahead on pretty much everything. We're in quite good shape. When they did the midterm evaluation in 2021, we had no areas of significant concern. We had one area of minor concern, and that was they had trouble finding all of the details of the qualifications of our professors. And you may not have been hanging around for that, but that's when we were moving from the people admin system for tracking personnel to the Workday system for tracking personnel. And it just didn't go particularly well, particularly when it came to tested experience. It was much easier for people who had terminal degrees. So every doctorate of any, or we didn't have a problem with those. It was for people who say you can have a doctorate, but you're teaching here. What is the experience you had that qualified you to teach here? Turns out people admin was not tracking that very well. And so that was their one area of minor concern for us. So we've spent a great deal of time making sure that will not be a problem this time around. And the peer reviewers will actually be able to sign into the Workday system and look up any instructor and see their credentials. So we feel like we've kind of dealt with a lot of that problem there. So along with the opportunity for giving us some feedback as we go, when the peer reviewers visit in September, one of the things they do is they look to talk to students about what the experience is like, how effectively are we meeting these goals or not. And so I am hoping that you will be available in September to meet with reviewers when they're here. I will know at some point in April. They typically run about 5 months ahead of schedule. They'll let you know, here's our agenda for when we're going to be here. All the meetings with them we have already set up will be on the first floor of JSSB, so the Student Success Building. So that part, at least we know for sure. And we know we will need students at some point in those 2 days. Beyond that, I don't know a lot yet on exactly when or what they're going to want to talk about. But based on the 2017 visit, it was pretty freewheeling. The peer reviewers at that time did not have a specific, like, we need to hear X, Y, or Z from you, or these are topics we're concerned about. It was very open-ended. Tell us about, what's it like being a student. So I'm not sure what you'll get this time. I will guarantee we won't see any of the reviewers that we saw in 2021 or in 2017 because they rotate reviewers around. You almost never see the same institution twice. If you did it long enough, maybe you could, but I don't see anybody here for 30 years. Anyone. So that's totally fair there. So more than anything else, I'm just here to ask for really two things. Your willingness to take a look at this and give us some feedback when it's available in March. We'll share the site with you so you can do that. And then to make yourself and your fellow students as available as possible September 28th and 29th to meet with the reviewers when they're here. So questions, thoughts, comments, anything? Yeah, that's my spiel.
Yeah, I'll open the floor for comments right now. Our questions. Will?
You said September, is
Mhm.
that correct? I just want to point out to you that by then there will be a new cycle, TSAG.
No, I'm totally coming up. It's really important to inform you now, so
Yeah.
it becomes part of the institutional knowledge here. So, yeah.
For sure, for sure. We'll definitely make sure with Stephen to carry on that message to the next cycle as well, but definitely for the March. Is it, or the
No,
March?
so in March, basically, we'll have a draft ready that.
Oh,
you'll be
the
able to
draft,
comment on.
excuse me.
Yes.
Yep, just want to.
Yeah, it's perfect. And yeah, I knew that there'd be a whole new body of folks in here,
Okay.
but hopefully some of you will still be here as students regardless and still want to engage because the peer reviewers tend to be they're not very rigorous that this has to be a student that is, really engaged and part of student life. It's more like, yeah, we want your bodies to show up and tell us what they think. And, having gone through the 2017 one here, it was kind of interesting. Some of the student feedback we got, I was like, I'm not sure that student's supposedly one of my majors and I've never seen them. So I feel very, very interested in all this. So, yeah, good times.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Scott?
This submission that you're talking about that you said is due in August. What's the final step at MSU before we send it off? Is it provost? Is it president? Is it trustees? Where's it stop?
I mean,
Uh,
yeah. So there's only two people that are actually within the institution allowed to communicate with the Higher Learning Commission, the president of the institution and your accreditation liaison officer. I have a very sexy title. And I am that person, so I'm the ALO. And the president will look it over, will provide comments, but ultimately it's my responsibility to turn it in. So I will be the last editor who looks at it. And it's a good moment for me, Sky, because prior to getting into higher education, I spent 20 years working as a journalist and a lot of those as an editor. So it's like, yeah, I mean, at this point in my life, I can't do it. I will never be able to. And so, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, the fact that we started really actually writing pieces in August, we are so far ahead of what we've done in previous years that because we've always previously been a spring visit. And so I was expecting them to come in spring of 27. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that'll be fine. We'll start. This will all be great. And then, in the fall, they're like, oh, no, we're going to come and see you in September of 26. And it was like, okay, well, that's 6 months ahead of schedule. But, we're fine. We're fine. We're already working on this. It'll work out great. And so I didn't really have a lot of concerns, even when they moved it up.
What's the submission that we're sending? What's the assignment description that they give?
Oh, okay.
What are we submitting?
So the assignment description so the assurance argument is a maximum 40,000 word document that includes evidence as needed. Yeah, so if you want to break it down into the 18 different parts, you have about 2,200 words per part that you could use to write that out. I will assure you it would not be anything mathematically that beautiful. There will be some that will have much shorter sections. There will be some that will be very long. One of the things that we've had problems with in the past, didn't last time, which was great, and actually the time before it was pretty good too, but was our assessment of general studies. So we've already said that's going to be one of our longer pieces because we know it's in the files. If they're like, well, prior to 2017, they weren't very good at this, so you might want to check that. So yes, we will write a lot about that. And I wrote a lot about faculty qualifications this time around. So those are going to be longer sections, but then because they're longer sections, we are also having to put more evidence with them. And you can put as much evidence as you want, and you can repeat a piece of evidence as much as you want.
So Maria, did you have to hand up?
Me?
I'll go pick.
Yeah, I just know from someone I work with Faculty Senate that we're also talking about introducing a new requirement within our general studies. Will that come up in this survey at all, or will that come up as evidence at all, or is that not a consideration until the next round?
It would be until the next round because there's really going to be no effective way to assess which that digital learning one if that actually gets put into place.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything will be it's why it's kind of easy to start in the fall. Is this year? It's really by what we've done by the end of May. That's pretty much all that they will measure us on.
And then in September, how many students are you looking to participate during there? So we can know if we need to recruit more people to do this.
It really depends on what they want to see, and since we don't have their agenda yet, we can't say for sure. I will say that in the past, just looking at their numbers, they're saying we were getting like 10 to 12 people per meeting, and they met maybe 2-3 times with students. So it wasn't 3 dozen. Let's go with 3 dozen. If we can get that, would be great. More than that would be fantastic because we're going to use that little. It's the little glassed-in room right there by the staircase as you come in. They do a lot of recruiting efforts. Yeah. Yes, that's I can't think what its number is, and I'm not even going to try. But yeah, so we could put 45, 50 people in there. Scott.
So Stephen, because this is in the next fiscal year, the next session of TSEC, would it be a good idea if we sort of create a standing obligation for next year's TSEC council to be present on these days, or what are we sort of looking to? I mean, I imagine there'll be some of us that are still here by then, but I don't know. So,
well, so Dr. Schaefer just confirmed there is something this semester, so there is something this semester.
Yeah, I mean, this semester is really the review piece.
Yep.
So your feedback this semester, and then in the fall, your presence.
So that's strictly up to you all to decide if you want to have someone work with Dr. Schaefer in this committee, if you want to do something internal where you all are reviewing things and giving it to Dr. Schaefer. I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I think there's.
Everything you're describing is fine. I mean, I'm not frightened by feedback. It's great to get. And so, yeah, the more the merrier.
Okay, so you were just asking like, because you said it's gonna be shared with us through SharePoint. It's gonna be open through the month of March all the way up into May. During that time, feedback is like adding comments onto it, or is it gonna be like kind of?
You can add comments onto it. We're going to make it available for comments, but not for editing.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's a little dangerous to make it available for editing.
No, not yet.
I'll just be honest.
Scott?
So there's this up to 40,000 word document that
Yeah.
we're submitting to this group.
Yep.
These peer reviewers. And you want student input on the submission. You want students to be present when the actual reviewers actually come. That's like the two big requests. So for this semester, I'll be honest, I don't think that I could read 40,000 words. I don't know.
I'm not expecting to.
Is there a way that we could guide our input to be in the most useful areas when it comes up? I'm trying to like think about how we could best give in that input.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to engage in the subtle bigotry of low expectations, so I'm going to try to avoid that, which is why the entire document is available for your commentary. However, if you go on to the HLC site, you look at the items for accreditation, there's 18 subcategories. You can see one in there and go, yes, I'd be very interested in that. And no, I'm not interested in these other things. To be honest, section 3 is really a lot of the teaching and learning part, will probably be the most. Section 1 is mission, vision, and values, which may be very important to you too. It really just depends on what your interests are. And I'm not too presumptuous about what people might want to do, which is why I kind of leave it all open. But yeah, if I were you, I'd probably be looking at section 3.
Other questions or comments we would like to?
Have a proposal of how we proceed. So just to throw it out there, it's not a motion or anything, just conversation. So I think we need to plan to put this on one of our agendas in the future once this is opened for us to review as a council, so we could what you call it, sort of a reminder, hey, look at this, and then a few weeks later, review it internally of what we have seen and commented on. Sort of like how comments is teaching. And then I do think we need to go ahead and like, at some point this semester, set that September 28th and 29th will be TSAC obligation days. You asked for about 3 dozen, is like ideal, more is wonderful. We don't have that many people. What sort of class, I mean, any and all students, I imagine, but what sort of type of student are you looking for to be in that area as leaders, or what are you looking for?
I think it's great to have student leaders engaged in it because it is significant to what the university does, and you have a different perspective into it. But the peer review qualifications, they make it very clear that they want students. They don't particularly care where they come from. So, I mean, it's open, and there will definitely be at least one session that they will just say, call for students. They will also, as the semester is starting in August, HLC will send a survey to students. Your participation is entirely up to you. It's completely optional. And we've had pretty low survey response rates, but to be honest, I'm not really pushing that because it's never been an issue for them. But they're like, oh yeah, we get 17%, great job. I'm like, okay, that doesn't feel like a great job, but you're good with it. We did nothing. You will just smile and move on to this.
Do you know like what date in March it's gonna open exactly?
So we'll have the meeting March 18th at St. Cajetan's to kind of run out this for everybody. And our goal is to have it available after that meeting on the 18th. So I'm hoping for March 18th, assuming all comes together. I still have people that are working on various bits and parts of it that they should be done this week, but I don't have it in my hand yet. So Patrick, I'm just being hopeful that
Yeah, and because I know you said you just wanted like some student support. Are you guys gonna do like your own flyers and advertisement for that event, or would you like?
Oh, for the March 18th?
Yeah.
Well, for March 18th, we were actually pushing to get faculty and staff to attend that one more than anything else because of the components of the assurance argument that we would really like to get some feedback from them, particularly on how do we develop evidence to go with those items. For the student government, for student body in general, I was kind of just interested in any feedback you could offer on these things.
Okay. Yeah, I think, kind of going as this guy, I think definitely added this to the agenda one of these days. That way the entire council, I think, and the HAC committee would be a little bit too small for an assignment this big. So, I think that'd be great for us to put our minds together and collaborate on that. Okay.
I was just gonna note for council delegates that the next meeting after March 18th would be the 23rd. March 18th is Wednesday, so the next Monday is the 23rd.
Thank you so much. Seeing as there is any more questions or comments, I think, we'll stay in contact, make sure, I think we'll definitely let you know, we'll have our reviews by surely Monday, 23rd, we'll have something.
Okay, well, you don't have to pressure yourselves. You'll have the entirety of April to easily put in anything, but I know everybody's trying to finish their semester by then. And, while it's pretty easy in the second week of class to feel pretty good about everything and excited, and I have energy to do all of this, it is a little harder after that ninth week, and you've just got spring break on your mind, and yeah, we're all humans on that point, so.
Thank you so much.
You bet. And I will go ahead. I grabbed just a handful of business cards before I walked out. So if any of you have questions or want to reach out to me afterwards, feel free. I know, of course, got my email, and Patrick, being one of my former students, knows many ways to track me down. So
Thank you so much for listening.
thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate your time. Coming back, we have everything up and running, and I hope your next group of leaders in the fall are as engaged.
Thank
you.
Have a good one.
Okay. Now we'll move into. Yeah. We have everybody. All right, now we'll move on for section 4 of delegate committee swearing in ceremony for 4/17/25. I'll now let Matt take that over.
So I'm gonna call everybody out, if you can just come over here and stand next to me. I would first like to call up Alcina Amiri. They're majoring in business management with a minor in marketing, and there's your sophomore. Next, I would like to welcome Medina Amiri. Medina is a junior majoring in finance and double minor in accounting and political science.
PR purposes.
Now I'm gonna swear you in, so if you'll repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute. Yeah, here, I'll slow down a little bit. Sure. I state your name, do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute.
Medina, I'm going to solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute.
I am Snagmiri, solemnly affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the delegate position within the Student Advocacy Council.
Duties
of the delegate position. You can do it, Kelly.
delegate position within the Student Advocacy Council
Of Metropolitan State University of Denver,
of State University of Denver.
to the best of my ability, and uphold the values of integrity, inclusivity, and advocacy outlined in
And uphold the values of integrity and authenticity and advocacy outlined in
the Constitution of this body.
the Constitution of this body.
I promise to place the interests of the students first
I promise to place the interests of the students first
and work collaboratively with the council members to find the best solutions
and work importantly with the council members to find the best.
benefiting our students.
benefit of those.
Congratulations, you are officially sworn in as delegates of MSU Denver Student Government. We hope you remain with us throughout the meeting and attend future meetings. Please be sure to meet with Stephen to set up the next steps.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Now moving forward with item B on section 4 for appointment to committees for both of you. Not sure, Matt, you have something prepared for that?
Oh, yeah, so just due to some scheduling stuff, I was needing to hand off the Outback position. And I already talked to Sky about this as potentially replacing you in that advocacy. Sky.
Different part of the agenda. This is for the delegates.
For the,
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah, you're doing great.
I apologize.
that was a lot. Right.
I think this will be standing committees, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, click
Too
back
many
into the
things.
meeting.
We'll pull that up because we had you to fill out the survey about which committees you'd want to join.
Yes.
I sent it to myself. Trying to find it. Which it did not send to. I believe one of you put PR as your first choice. Do you remember what you put? No,
I
thought I sent it to myself. I apologize.
I remember at the
Oh,
last
I found it.
swearing in ceremony, we had, we looked at the 6 different
Mhm.
sets of options and we decided as a council that what we wanted to do was to have 2 members of the PR committee be delegates, 2 members of the sustainability committee be delegates, 1 for accountability and 1 for budget. As of right now, we have 1 assigned to budget, 1 assigned to accountability, and 2 assigned to sustainability. So I think the council's hoping that these 2 folks will take PR committee. And I believe one of them was their first choice and one of them was their second choice. I would hope we would ask them if that was cool and if they would take that.
My first choice was budget and my second choice was the PR, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and yours I had as PR and then sustainability.
Yes. So are you both okay essentially being on PR?
Yeah,
I would love to be in budget, but it's fine, I can be in.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it limited to maximum 3 committees, 10 committees, if I recall? But yeah, I mean, first choice, I mean, if you guys want to do PR and budget, that'd be great. If you'd be able to have that capacity, I think we would definitely be acceptable for that.
Yeah, because this first one was more to steep you in, so you have a council member, like a committee chair that you can reach out to. Because you can join more than 1 committee, it's just more that initial one to like get you grounded in TSAC, so you're not just floating around like, what am I doing?
I think we could, that's especially on the bottom line. That's something that we can do. I do want to say, we did notice we have, are some guests here. Fortunately, our public comment did end a while ago, but I would like to see if there's anything particular you guys are here for.
Yeah, I just wanted to audit. So what's up, y'all? My name is Jared Fino. Actually, the 3 of us are with CU Denver's SGA. Saw a bunch of y'all running over, and I was like, oh my gosh, we've been able to see what TSAC's up to. I'm currently serving on the Student Advisory Committee to the Auraria Board, as you all know, for Rowan and Sky and others. Yeah, I was just really excited. I audited a CCD SGA meeting on Friday. It was lovely with those folks, and I want to make sure that I'm spending more time being available for shared campus committee.
Scott?
glad to have you. Meetings are open to the public, so we're happy you're here. I do want to let you know, we do have chairs. Usually there's chairs against the walls of this room. I don't know if that's taken away, but please feel free to sit down if you guys want to sit. I don't want you guys to stand in the corner unless.
Thank you so much.
Just feel welcome. And then, I think that we should go ahead and appoint, you guys to committees, at least 1 committee. So Your first choice was PR.
Yes.
And you want PR. Your first choice was budget, your second choice was PR. Okay, so the council needs to decide if we want to appoint how we want to do this appointment.
I don't see any issue with giving two committees.
Like what?
Medina.
Budget can always use more hands and PR naturally can also use more hands. I don't see any qualms there.
Neither do I. All right, yeah, I think it'll be fair if you just go for PR and if you want to do for budget and PR committees, just a reminder from like last meeting, we'll connect you with our stand-in chairs. Just right now, since we're right here, PR chair is Susana Villa Gomez. She has her hand up, so we can contact with her. And our budget chair is Early Powell. So Medina, I will get in contact with these two after our meeting and yeah, let you know about our meeting. So
How do we pronounce your first names again?
Medina.
Medina,
Alicia.
Alicina. Okay, I motion that we appoint Alicina and Medina to PR and Medina to budget.
Do I have a second? Seconded. Is there any opposition? Seeing as there's an opposition, it is unanimously. Congrats. Okay, moving forward with section 5 on announcements and updates, we'll hand it off to Stephen.
Good afternoon, everyone. A few updates for you. One, and the first, and this is probably most important for you all, there are a bunch of Tivoli reimagined town halls coming up. I can absolutely send you when those are. One was specifically highlighted from MSU Denver leadership. That one is on Thursday, February 5th from 1 to 2 p.m. in JSSB 400. So that would be the one I would encourage you to go to. So again, that's Thursday, February 5th, 1 to 2 p.m., Jordan Student Success Building, room 400. But there are more than just that one. There are a total of 5 town halls. So there's one tomorrow, there's one on Wednesday, there's one on Thursday. The MSU Denver one is the 4th, and then there's one for CU on Thursday, February 5th. So I can provide all of that to you. We don't have to spend time doing that. Secondly, we are in the second week of Ready, Set, Rowdy welcome activities. This week is really great. It's Community Week. The week focuses on students building community with one another, getting involved and engaged on campus. The one event that I really want to point out for you all is on Thursday, our Club and Student Involvement Fair is happening. So that's the 29th. And you all, I believe, are tabling at that day on that event. So it is really important that you all are present for that, or whoever is able to be present for that. Third thing, A-Frame should be coming in. I believe if they're not already in the office, they're somewhere on campus. I will locate them. Additionally, clickers have been ordered, so you all have that as well. And then finally, I was in touch with a gentleman named Lee Crawford of MSU Denver, and he is looking for student representation on the University Technology Advisory Council, UTAC. The main highlights of this are that they are really looking for feedback on how the student tech fee is used, as well as how departments are using that as well. Now, you all have a very packed agenda. We do not need to spend time on that. What I can do is I can put that on Teams. You all can have at it as you see fit, and then we can put it on the agenda for next week. Just know there is a meeting next Tuesday. So they are only meeting quarterly though. So there is that. With that,
Thank you. Dr. Bowman is here. Move forward for standing committees. You have a correct question?
What time is that meeting on Tuesday?
next Tuesday, it'll be 3 to 4 p.m. They haven't set a location yet.
Keegan, do you have an update?
Yeah, I am so sorry. This is just like a little last minute thing. If you want something ordered for the office supplies list, like today, 5:30, the latest, you should be filling that out because we're gonna place an order here soon. So like I said, ASAP if you need something.
Thank you so much for your direct response.
To Stephen, yeah. I guess it's to the council, but on Stephen's point, who's interested in this tech fee committee? Who can make it to a quarterly Tuesday, 3 p.m. meeting? Quarterly is 4 times a year, by the way, guys. Just FYI, it's not 4 times a week or month. Okay, I see one person available and interested.
Can't make it.
Oh, okay.
This is open for delegates.
Yeah, I was gonna say if someone wants it, it'd be super easy just to appoint someone, especially if there's a competition. But if we need to debate it, then yeah, I agree with you. Next thing.
Yeah,
Anyone, really.
seeing as there isn't anyone currently, we'll just go with as Steven said. So if there's more details there, let's look it up offline. I'm moving up to standing committees. There's PR. Susanna.
Hi, I only have 1 minute, so I'm gonna go fast. So tomorrow we do have an event. I know we already signed up all day, but, oh, not tomorrow, Thursday, my bad. So we already signed up all day. So if you guys can help out, please sign up to sign the sheet that Steffi did send out. She did send it out like a week ago, I think. And then, we are gonna do gift cards. Hopefully they come in. If they do not, we're just gonna purchase items from the activity store that student could win a prize. And then we are planning, we do have a meeting every Wednesday, and we are planning to do our resolution for the school supplies and starting our small guidelines. If you guys are interested, I'll be sending it to everybody. Use brainstorm, start working on it, because this is gonna be a lengthy one. And that's all I have right now.
All right, thank you so much. Sky, direct response?
No, I was doing sustainability.
Sustainability.
I was just gonna say, we had our first meeting of the year today, very exciting with our delegates. We have a lot of work on our plate this upcoming semester. Everyone should have received every counselor, I believe, and then I will send it to the delegates that got on today. Should have received a direct message from me with a resolution for an initiative that sustainability wants to run. That will be coming next week. Please give comments and feedback. We'd love to incorporate it before it goes on the agenda on Friday.
Thank you so much, Scott. Moving forward, I think we'll just go for budget right now. Keegan has it up there, our presentation as is. So this isn't our final one, but this is our overview. We wanted to have a meeting Wednesday, budget committee, and another one with Stephen tomorrow to look over and approve this. Our final deadline for this is on the 2nd of February to turn in for SAB. So for those of you who may not aware, SAB is our Student Affairs Board that we have here. They're the ones that are in charge of the programming fee, which is a fee that we all pay when you get into school. Everyone has to pay that fee. That fee goes to a fund for the student organizations, which funds, just about TSAC, LGBTQ Center, Met Media, all those different things. So we're here trying to explain who we are, what we do, how we are doing fiscally, are managing our money, financially, and how that impact is onto the student body. When we presented this on the 6th, on the 6th of February. So first slide, just going briefly saying, what is TSAC? What does TSAC do? I'll let Irby essentially take this. Care of this one.
Okay, so we have our mission statement there, and what does TSAC do typically? If anyone has any feedback on the first slide, I would love that input. Like any hands I can see right now in the audience. If anyone has feedback, please have a look to this. So this is all we are covering in our slides. What is TSAC? What does TSAC do? And first slide you saw that was covering this.
We're just gonna stay up there. We have our current staff. As you can see, we didn't have everyone's picture available, but we needed to format it. So
What did I do?
is that bad?
You were alphabetically last.
So we have there, our plan there is to put our names under each.
Did I Agent Smith them or something?
And yeah, we are waiting on the staff members and delegates to cover all the wills in there.
Why? It's perfect right now. So our plan here is to have our standing committee, like chair positions underneath our names there. That way we can give a glimpse of who we are, the SAB. Can you go next slide, Keegan? Thank you. And here we have, this is work in progress, y'all. It's a work in progress. So this is why we're asking for y'all advice right now. So we have our internal structured committees, we have our internal committees and university-wide TSAC representation, which would be for us, our advisory committees. Just a list of who we have there. Like I said, the style will look nice. I will make sure it looks nice at the end, but this is what we have. Any qualms offline or into the notes of it, this is available onto the standing committees. Go to budget file, and then we'll be working FA 27 SAB. And underneath that file, inside that file will be this SGTSAC FY 27 SAB presentation. Go next. Go team.
These are the priorities and goals we set up this semester, last year. So this is just like an overview what we did over the past couple of semesters and what we have been working on. So just like work in progress, nothing like an actual presentation. So any updates, feel free to express it right now or maybe comment on the presentation or something.
Yeah, and these were the goals that we did earlier in the summer training. That's where we pulled it from. You really need 10 tiers to show goals and programs. Next. And here we have, what does a typical TSAC semester look like? So we're just trying to show like how we amplify student voices to bring concerns to campus leadership. We advocate for students by hosting events that address student needs, and we support and advocate for projects to other student organizations. So a good thing that I've been seeking out of you guys, so I'm trying to brainstorm here, is how I can pull this in as with this one, likewise with our actual work and our events and our resolutions. Like, do we need more wording here? Do we need less? That's why I want to make sure. SAB last year for me, I felt a lot of it was missing what we really do and what the capacities that we take on onto ourselves, the amount of advisories, the amount of university policies that we go and tend to, the hours that we have, the manpower it takes to do all that. So just really emphasizing our work here and that others can see the value that we do that. Next.
We're gonna make this look good.
This one I'm taking notes.
Sure, I can go. Yeah, so we just threw down some stats here as we brainstorm what to do with this slide. But we want to give them an overview of what we did last year with the budget they gave us, and then what we expect to do this year with the budget that we currently have, so that our next year's proposal will make sense. And so right now we have all text with student engagement numbers. We're waiting on the student engagement numbers for Stephen for this current year and for the last year. We will get those, and hopefully we'll make some sort of comparative graphic on this page. Hopefully. Oh, I can skip some slides. This is all. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna do this.
You want to go? You have a question, comment?
All the pictures looks very, very cramped. I recommend that.
I agree.
Do not like cramped.
No, it's also distracting because you have one whole images and the other side of words. I would limit the pictures and the wording is fine.
Okay. Any other comments? William?
I'm not sure if you guys are gonna cover it. If you do, then I'll shut up for now, but what about a slide with like certain legislation that was passed that affects whole campus, or the idea that affects the whole campus, not just events?
We do have a slide.
We
but
do have a slide.
We have, we are looking for solutions.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, and you see
So yeah, this one is just showing our work that we did last year. It's putting up our stats here we got from Stephen from all of our attendance that we had for the student engagement. So it's just showing how we did it after dark, how we did for the culture class we did as well for last year for the transitional events. And likewise, we voted how last year we had the largest voter turnout in the current model with 500 student casting votes. So I think that was a jump for, was it 300 last the year before, Stephen? Yes, yeah, so that was pretty good. Next. So what's new? We have what? Oh, perfect. That's a new challenge.
Oh, I did read this resolution. I just didn't read the slide. Sorry. Yeah, resolutions. So, talking about the Know Your Rights, training resolution we passed last semester and the, what you call it, success of the event we had last semester as well, and then projecting success of the future ones this semester.
I have a question / concern. Because you're allotted a certain time during your presentation and they're pretty strict about that, as I remember last year. I don't know if it'd be beneficial to go over each one with one slide each, or just a slide with all the ones, and then you guys can like touch on like what was the goal and what is the hope with it, future wise.
So with,
Instead of like one slide for like this.
This is
rest
only
of
slide.
Well,
yeah,
gotcha.
I think, I think it would make a lot of sense to have like one page about like statements or initiatives that we did essentially through these different resolutions, over the last year and a half. I don't know how far we're going to go back, but, and sort of give them an overview. I think, there'd be many different projects we've taken on, this year and, last year that would be good to highlight.
you said also, will you recommend to put in our goals and our intention behind that?
Well, like what, like mention it is, and then when you're presenting, like when you hit the bullet point, you're like, this is what we passed and this is what it was about. You know, the intentions. I would say that I think a slide potentially of an expansion of TSAC as a body with the delegates, like showing, hey, we are expanding, we are including more students specifically into our form of governance. And that can show some like more value as well.
Absolutely. Emma? Say it should be the chair.
Yeah, sorry. This is more just like a, not as an SIB chair. I'm just saying that, I would agree with what Will is saying. I think also there's ways to like kind of make it look like a greater achievement than it is, or not that they're not achievements, but like amplify it and make it look a certain way. And this almost by having singular resolution makes it look smaller instead of just being like, we did this and this and this, and like covering like multiple points. And then I would say that about the other two slides as well, talking about events, instead of like kind of like showing you just like each event being like, here's all of our engagement. We did, you know, X amount of events, like instead of breaking it down by each one, because then it feels like almost minimizing in a way, if that makes sense.
All right. Try to expand it more on.
Yeah, like more broad picture instead of like narrow focus,
Gotcha.
which I think is what Will's saying a little bit too, and it'll cut down on time.
That's Susanna and Steffi.
Well, I was gonna discuss almost PR meeting last time. Emma does bring out a good point, and I've been working on it just to cut it down, like how many events do we have a total, and like estimate of how many people we had that entire semester or year, which I was gonna send it to you all. Do you still want that?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
And I was, what I recall from our last meeting was that I was gonna present a PR tactic for this semester of reasoning why we need this money and what we're gonna basically do for this semester to raise student engagement. But that's mostly in PR section.
Do you think with that tactic you have, I know you don't have the whole thing, but give you 2 slides or 1 slide?
It's not really a slideshow, it's like a proposal. And that's what I mentioned last meeting. I could cut it down.
All right. Okay. And Steffi, real quick?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, that's a good point, because I just noticed that for the events, you guys didn't include all the collaborations, all the events that we collaborated with. So I think it is a very good way to just like think like very broad to like maximize like our engagement this last semester.
Scott?
Yeah, no, I think those are really good ideas. I also want to note that I don't think we've had any influence from the PR chairs in the meetings we had about this. I think it'd be really cool if we could try to get a meeting this upcoming week to, with, you know, some of you guys to talk about like how we can edit this and, you know, one more standing committee chair and the creation of that, because we're an asset in that space, so.
Can you go next slide, Keegan? Just gonna run through these. This is currently a blank one, so we just go
Template.
yeah, template.
There we go.
That right there, that's where we're gonna be presenting, looking at our numbers. That's presenting our fiscal year from last year currently and our request for next year. So, that's the stats right there. Biggest thing in the slides is how do we prove like that's what we need? How we're gonna best use that use. Sky and then Will.
So just for context, people, this form is the form that we had to submit to Taylor Tackett, I believe this person we submitted this to. This is like a budget office form. I don't think we should use this form in our SAP presentation. I don't think this translates to what the students sitting on the SAP understand this to be. I think we should give them like much less spreadsheet vibes, much more like graphic vibes. I think this slide should be cut.
We'll see.
I actually want to hear what Steven has to say on that point because you've done it with us last year, your presentation. So just like learning from last year, what would you advise in this situation?
Sure. So one thing to note, I agree with Sky. I don't think it's necessary to be on the presentation. All the members of SAB will have it there with them so they can review what that looks like. What I would recommend is having a more viewer-friendly layout of this, because I look at this and I say to myself, dear Lord. So, and we all know that the university's budget sheets are very clunky and ugly and all that. So I would say keep this, you don't need to put this. They're all going to have a copy of this. So I would take, I would say, if I were you all, I would say, okay, under not contracted services, under travel, you have $15,000 located there. I would then say, what is that actually going towards? That is going toward funding clubs and organizations. You have 1,047 under rent. That's actually your lease for your photocopier. Under equipment, you have $2,000. You're going to put a down payment on Irvy's new car. I don't know, whatever. That is what you want to read. That's how, so essentially what I'm saying, Irvy and Patrick, you want to translate it from the sheet to something that students are going to understand, like events, programming, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Next. Yes, Sky.
So this is obviously the beginnings of a slide. It's a thought, not a slide yet. But so in thinking about a requested increase, these are the categories that I can directly say, like, this is what our increase is going to be, other than sort of increasing our programming. For context, this year, our rollover from last year was $17,000, and we're projecting as the budget committee to use all of that this year because of the substantial amount of money that we are giving to our committees and the heightened presence that we have and student engagement. And so next year, automatically, we're facing a $17,000 shortfall because we're not going to have any rollover if we spend all of it this year, which is the plan. Which means that what they allocate to us, even if they keep us flat, we're losing $17,000. And so we have to think about where that's going and what we would spend that on. So for this budget request, there's a category for the delegate program, which would be like, if we wanted to keep the delegate program, this is how much it would cost us. There's a category for maintenance, which isn't actually like maintenance of our space. That's like budget maintenance. So the increase in the minimum wage for our student employees, as well as some of the services that we pay for through PR. And then $2,000 in student org support. This would be like upgrading the student conference room that has been sort of considered. These are like concrete categories. I need more categories to get us up to that $17,000 number that we were requesting in the previous slides and the slides we'll make. And so I would love input from other people on like how I can tangibly like articulate, like, what are we doing in PR committee next year that we need more money for compared to last year? Because this year we have more money than we will next year. That needs to be reflected in our request. All of that at the same time to be said is that they're not going to give us any more money this year. They have no money. So we're requesting an increase and we know they're not going to give us one. So that's another kind of thing to consider in this too.
All right, and that is pretty much our last slide. I mean, we have two more after that. It's the blank one and then it's the questions. So just to, biggest thing for here, I'm not sure if everyone has immediate, yes, Emma? Yes, because
I was just, don't you also have to make a slide about cutting funding? And I had ideas about that. I think I already communicated them, but I'll just say it anyways, like, to be like effective, like saying like, if we had to get a budget cut, we'd have to cut like the delegates program, like hard hitting things, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%.
absolutely. And that's something that I was thinking to add into that. Given this is something Herbie, Sky, and myself have worked on a couple hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and a little bit today too. So we're definitely open to a lot of like feedback. This, like I said, for everyone that missed it, but this is gonna be in the budget standing committee files. It's gonna be under a file that says FA 27 SAB working. So please to everybody, you don't have to be a part of the budget committee, but just go onto the presentation, go onto the notes. If there are any slides that you potentially want to add or any ideas to add onto the slides, write it on there. We'll take a look at it. We'll definitely have, we'll vote on it on Wednesday for budget. So if you also want to be a part of that one, you guys are more invited to that. I'll probably try sending out invite to everybody for our next meeting. And we'll be voting there, and then we're submitting it on a deadline on the 2nd of February. William?
Question for the committee. Yeah, or who's going to present?
No, we had to table that from our previous agenda, so we'll have that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so as there more, any other comments, questions, please do offline. Now we'll be going further on to our advisory committees.
Accountability.
We have a meeting after this. We'll have more of an update next week.
Wonderful. All right, seeing as there's no more standing committee updates for advisory, we have 1 minute each. Herbie?
Date for student travel. So, the student travel program will operate with a monthly budget of 4,200 through June. Any unused funds in a given month will be distributed evenly across the remaining months of the fiscal year, because the funding is very limited and not all the eligible applications may be funded. And even if they meet like minimum requirements, application timing and eligibility is only complete application proposals, waivers, advisor form, and orientation form. Submitted by the last day of the month will be considered for the month's funding cycle, and application is considered complete only after all the requirements forms are submitted. And complete applications will roll into the next month's review cycle once all the forms are completed. Submission limits is students may submit 1 proposal per event. Students will receive funding only once per fiscal year. If a proposal is not funded, it cannot be resubmitted for the same event in a later month. And the review and scorings would be standard to the rubric of the student travel.
For faculty senate, I had kind of mentioned it when Dr. Schaefer was here, but they are considering adding a digital literacy category to the general studies. If you want to know what that's about or have anything that you'd like me to track to them, please let me know.
Director's one.
Will that include the whole? After some, if you don't have your digital literacy, like 30 credits or whatever.
I don't believe so.
Okay. The first hand, so back to.
I have two questions for the council in regards to like the delegate interview committee. One, well, we can talk about this more later, but I'd probably put this on the agenda next time, but for you guys to think about is until when do we serve our purpose as a ad hoc committee? Like when, like if we've met that point or not to dissolve? And then two, my question is more for like the agenda in our general meetings as to whether delegates would want a slotted time to bring updates on for themselves, for the council.
Scott?
You guys, this committee is done, right? You interviewed the delegates and we appointed the delegates. That wasn't that your whole thing?
It was, but there was usually in past cycles, we would officially like motion to like, dissolve. Thank you.
So moved.
So I want to see how we want to navigate that official process. Okay. And so that's my first question. And then the second question is about, we do have, like, I know delegates can like raise their hand and like talk, but I was wondering if they were interested in having a section for themselves on the agenda and like bringing up updates of stuff we're working on or things of that nature.
I can make a comment on that. While I do appreciate the motion to have us have more voice, I feel like since we're already assigned a committee, our voices will already be portrayed by the committee. At least that's how I feel like. While I do think it's cool to consider us, I feel like we're already being considered.
Scott.
Yeah, I'll just restate the one thing is that, yes, I think we should absolutely dissolve the delegate interview committee. It served its purpose. There's many other places in the council for delegates to turn to now if they need support, as well as their standing committees, accountability committee, advisors, and any counselor. And then second, I don't think the delegates need their own slot on the agenda. They're part of the entire meeting. They're on committees. They can speak up just like any other counselor would. There's no counselor updates section. They can talk during open floor. They can talk anywhere and everywhere. And I think that's how we should keep it.
I agree.
Need a motion to dismiss the.
I will motion to dismiss the ad hoc delegate delegate interview committee.
Okay. Do we have any opposition? Any abstentions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right. Any other advisory committees? Thank you so much for any advisory committee updates? Ria?
Yeah, I don't know if everyone saw my email, but in Sheriff's Evidence, we did get told about new committee, the Space Planning Committee. I don't have much information besides that they meet, I think, weekly for an hour, and essentially they're just gonna be planning what the buildings will be laid out like. And I've heard that previously they visited other schools to have an idea of different ideas to implement for those new buildings. But yeah, once more information comes, I will definitely keep.
Yeah. What's the difference between that and the space now? I was just gonna ask that.
I don't. I'm saying.
Sure. Gonna ask. Thank you.
The States.
It sounds very similar
Yeah,
to the point where I'm like,
We
Yeah,
can
it does
definitely
seem
double
very
check,
similar.
you know, on the email chain with that.
Yeah.
Sky has provided context here as well for everybody.
Also context for the delegates, especially the advisory committees that Maria's getting that information from is the Shared Governance Council. Often we hear things from there that we also hear in other spaces too. So I think there's a chance this is literally just the same committee we have you on. But if not, I think we certainly need to find out more. So if you could get more and then come back to us, then.
Yeah, they said, so initially they said they didn't have anyone from TSAC. And then I brought it up and said, we need someone from TSAC on there because it was just higher ups. So I think it might be different.
Gotta be different. Get together.
Yeah.
All right. If anyone is interested in that, delegates or counselors, getting Maria sent it out, CC the email to everybody if I recall. So check your emails, read up on that. And then we can stay in touch offline about that discussion. Any other advisory committees? Okay, seeing as there's nobody, we move forward with section 6 of old business. CR SP 2601 Chairship Committee Guidelines and Procedures. And I'll let Sky present this one. It's okay.
Before we present, I believe you need to advocate the presiding chair to someone that's not an author.
I will have to advocate.
Like anyone. Not me. It's not you or you.
Pointing at me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can.
Okay, I'm advocating you to be the presiding chair.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay, beautiful.
There. Well, who's presenting?
I'm happy to start.
Right.
Wonderful. Okay, combination of events that brought us to this very moment. I'm going to try to read quickly, but I will try to be understandable. Okay, CR Spring 2601, resolution to adopt chairship committee guidelines and procedures, authored by Faye, Patrick, Sky, and William. This resolution is to create the chairship committee's guidelines and procedures, including the SGT cycle rules of order. Whereas the mission mission of the chairship committee is to maintain parliamentary order and represent the council and MSU member president's cabinet. Whereas the responsibilities of the chairship committee in maintaining parliamentary order are leading formal meetings, keeping track of time, maintaining the procedural order of meetings, keeping track of the order of those speaking, and offering comments unbiased. As representatives at the MSU member president's cabinet meetings, the chairs will share the perspective of the council as a whole and bring back all relevant information for the council to give input on. Whereas the chairship members are members of the budget committee and have one collective vote on the business of the budget committee. Whereas the following sections would fall under the definition of procedures and would need a supermajority to pass. Section 1, parliamentary order in SGTSAC meetings. A, chairship committee members' roles in SGTSAC meetings. I, it is only practical for one person to speak at a time during a meeting. So the member of the chairship that calls the meeting to order is the presiding chair and is responsible for the verbal aspect of maintaining parliamentary order. This member is the one who will call on to speak, accept motion in seconds, declare the results of the vote, and quote, direct traffic for the meeting. At times, the presiding chair might find it practical to hand off the duties of the presiding chair to other members of the chairship or council. Other members of the chairship are jointly responsible for maintaining parliamentary order, but do not speak as the presiding chair. They will check the presiding chair for bias in maintaining parliamentary order, make unbiased comments, help with presiding of members that wish to be recognized, and remind the presiding chair of the rules of order. They will collaborate with the presiding chair, the accountability committee, and the executive assistant to ensure proper record keeping for minutes, attendance, and votes, as well as assist in timekeeping. If the presiding chair is constitutionally conflicted from chairing a meeting while a piece of legislation is being discussed, the presiding chair must appoint, according to the Constitution, another councilor to take over as presiding chair until the conflicting business has concluded. The order of members the presiding chair is compelled to use when appointing is fellow members of the chairship, neither authoring nor endorsing the business, other members neither authoring nor endorsing the business, fellow members of the chairship endorsing but not authoring the business, and then other councilors endorsing but not authoring the business. If there are no members of the chairship present or the members of the chairship committee cannot agree on who will call a meeting to order, including a non-chairship appointee, any other standing committee chair will have the authority to call the meeting to order, starting as the presiding chair. B, TSAC rules of order. For the purposes of this section, presiding chair refers to the person that is speaking while maintaining parliamentary order. The presiding chair is not of higher authority than other members of the chairship or council, but is given authority to maintain parliamentary order by the Constitution, clarified by these procedures. The presiding chair could be a non-member of the chairship under some circumstances, like this one. The TSAC rules of order are meant to change as the current council sees fit to reflect the unique styles of the chairs and council and ensure that meetings of TSAC are conducive to student advocacy, such that the current council is best supported in its mission. Upon selection, the members of the incoming chairship must review the current rules of order, proposed rules of order, and any subsequent changes are approved by the council as procedure changes. Each approval shall constitute a new version of the SGTSAC rules of order and shall be numbered as such. When convening meetings of SGTSAC before the current council approves a set of rules of order, parliamentary order is governed by the most recent version passed by the previous council. Any voting member of the council may submit a proposed change to the rules of order, but they would need to submit them as procedure changes. Changes to the SGTSAC rules of order will come into effect at the close of the meeting at which the change was approved. The chairship committee will keep a record of the current and past versions of the SGTSAC rules of order available for public inspection pursuant to the Colorado Open Records Act. Given that changes to the rules of order are accomplished by resolution, this need to keep a record is satisfied by keeping a record of the passage of the resolution, a task usually assigned to the executive assistant. The current version of the SGTSAC rules of order is linked here. Also, everyone should have a copy of that in front of them. The SGTSAC rules of order are interpreted by the presiding chair, but any chair's decision may be overruled by a simple majority vote. Interpretation is not a pathway for the chair to change the rules, but gives the presiding chair a small amount of discretion to keep meetings running smoothly. Housekeeping and public comment. Attendance. Attendance will be taken at every meeting. The presiding chair will do a verbal roll call and declare if a quorum of voting members is present. The executive assistant will record the attendance of all members of SGTSAC as declared by the presiding chair. If there is a disagreement with the accuracy of the declared or recorded attendance, any voting member may motion to amend the record. Agenda and flow of SGTSAC meetings. The agenda must be approved by a majority vote of members present before the meeting can continue. The SGTSAC Constitution and rules of order govern modifications to the agenda. The chairship and executive assistant are jointly responsible for ensuring the agenda is created and published within the requirements of Colorado Sunshine Laws, accountability committee's guidelines and procedures, and the SUTSAC Constitution. Public comment. There is a public comment period at every regular meeting of SUTSAC. The time for public comment is allotted on the agenda. If at the time when public comment is scheduled, no members of the public express their wish to give public comment, the agenda may move forward. But if a member of the public requests to give comments at any point during the allotted duration, the chairship will pause the ongoing business and allow the member of the public to give comments. Special meeting. Special meeting is defined at the meeting of SUTSAC outside of usually recurring scheduled meetings. Special meetings may be called in one of three ways. 1, a majority vote of the chairship committee following notice to the council. 2, a unanimous vote of any other standing committee with at least 3 committee members voting, followed by notice to the council. And 3, a majority vote of the council after a motion and second via chat or other verifiable means and notice to the council. For a special meeting to be called, notice can only be accomplished by ensuring every councilor is notified of the meeting. This could be by email, Teams chat, or in person, but posting notice to the public does not mean that the council was notified. Special meetings have the same requirements as general meetings. They must have a quorum present to convene. They must have an agenda. They must adhere to Colorado Sunshine Law and Accountability Committee guidelines and procedures. Special meetings may be canceled by a majority vote SUTSAC. Executive sessions. Executive session is defined as a closed session during a business meeting of SUTSAC or committee thereof. Executive sessions can only be held for a limited set of reasons outlined by Colorado Sunshine Laws. The bases executive sessions are outlined in the Accountability Committee's guidelines and procedures and in Colorado Sunshine Laws. The reason for entering executive session must be explained in as much detail as possible. The presiding chair may exclude or allow persons to attend executive sessions other than SUTSAC councilors as decided by a majority vote of SUTSAC. Section 2, MSU Denver President's Cabinet Meetings. Chairship committee members' roles in MSU Denver President's Cabinet Meetings. The chairship must represent the will of the council at President's Cabinet Meetings. The chairship should seek the opinion of the council on cabinet business. If a question before them is of such urgent nature that the chairship cannot seek the opinion of the council on a matter before providing input, the chairship must provide the responses they expect the council would agree to. The chairship must promptly update the council on the business of the President's Cabinet, and the chairship will prepare a written report to SUTSAC on the business of the President's Cabinet within 5 business days of a cabinet meeting. SUTSAC only has 1 vote during President's Cabinet meetings, and only 1 member of the chairship will sit as the SUTSAC representative for a given meeting. But all members of the chairship committee are responsible for ensuring the council is represented in that space. It is expected that all members of the chairship will attend President's Cabinet meetings. 1 member will sit as a voting member in meetings, and the others will sit in the audience. If a member of the chairship does not attend the President's Cabinet meeting, the member must watch the recording of the meeting to get caught up. The member of the chairship voting in a President's Cabinet meeting will seek the counsel of the other members in attendance before and while the meeting is underway by chat or any other means. Any record of communication shall be open to public inspection pursuant to Colorado Sunshine Laws and the Accountability Committee's guidelines and procedures. The chairs will decide how they split up who the voting member is for any given President's Cabinet meeting. Any disagreement between the chairs on this could be solved by the council by majority vote. Any single semester of exceptions to this section can be made by the council by majority vote. Section 3, Budget Committee Meetings. Chairship committee members' roles in the Budget Committee. The SUTSAC Constitution states the Budget Committee, quote, will be composed of key committee chairs, end quote. The Budget Committee Guidelines and Procedures, Section 2, Subsection A, clarifies that the chairship provides a voting representative to the committee. The members of the chairship will cast 1 vote together. If there is a disagreement between the members of the chairship, the majority opinion within the chairship will decide the vote. In the event of a tie between the chairship members, the chairship's vote on a question before the Budget Committee will be an abstention. This is the process members of the chairship will come to a consensus as to their vote on the Budget Committee. Any member of the chairship may declare there to be no consensus as to the chairship's vote and make a request that the council decide for a single member of the chairship to be the voting member of the Budget Committee as outlined in the Budget Committee guidelines and procedures. I'm going to pass it off to my co-chair for the rest of this meeting, if that's okay with you, Emma.
Get Sky breather here. So whereas the following sections would fall under the definition of guidelines, it would need a simple majority to pass. Section 1, shared responsibility of the duties of the chairship. Collaboration, compassion, integrity. Members of the chairship should work together collaboratively, compassionately, and with integrity to accomplish the 3 responsibilities of the chairship. Maintaining parliamentary order in meetings, representing council, president, cabinet, and membership to the budget committee. Members of the chairship should build each other up as councilors, increasing their effectiveness as councilors and as chairs. The chairs would collaborate with each other to plan how they will split the responsibilities of the chairship, including when and what frequency they will each call meetings to order and act as the presiding chair. If the chairship fails to agree on how they split these duties, they should consult the accountability committee and advisors for guidance on how to proceed. Presenting a united front. And all duties of the chairship should present a united front by working in partnership with each other. When members of the chairship disagree, they will work collaboratively in accordance with the chairship procedures to settle disagreements while ensuring that all members of the chairship are represented. The members of the chairship should meet to plan how to work collaboratively and present a united front in SGT-SAC meetings, at president cabinet, and during budget committee meetings. Leading by example. Members of the chairship are expected to lead alongside, but not above, other councils, ensuring that all feel valued, empowered to contribute. Section 2, maintaining parliamentary order in SGT-SAC meetings. Rules of order interpretation. When interpreting the rules of order, the presiding chair should consult with other members of the chairship whenever they are unsure. The other members of the chairship should consult with the presiding chair if they disagree with any decision made by the presiding chair. Motions to legislation. When councilors make motions, the chairs will seek to clarify the motion before proceeding if it is unclear or a non-standard motion to ensure that all members understand the question being considered. Note for the record, we are striking 2 from section 2, rules of order interpretation. This is the second one. Go back. When legislation is presented, the presiding shall remind the council that a motion to approve the agenda must be made before debate can begin for the SGT-SAC rules of order. Presiding chair application. When the presiding chair is an interested party in a question before the council, they should appoint another presiding chair to take over until that business is concluded at the same manner as outlined in chairship procedure section 1A4. When deciding if other members of the chairship are also interested in party or are also an interested party to the question before the council, the presiding chair should consult with the other members of the chairship before deciding. Ensuring equitable facilitation. When facilitating, the presiding chair should prioritize voting members, especially those that have spoken the least during a meeting. When facilitating discussions and debates, there are many members who wish to speak. The presiding chair should ensure their placement in the queue is made clear and is transparent to the council. Section 3, rules of order draft. The drafting of the proposed rules of order referenced in the chairship committee procedures 1A1 should be a council-informed process. The chairs that are drafting the procedures should incorporate any councilor input into any proposed changes to the rules of order, seeking the guidance of the advisors and in returning councils regarding the previous year's rules of order is also strongly suggested. In submitting proposed changes to the rules of order, the authors must follow the established process for amending procedures outlined in SGT-SAC Constitution. Section 4, special meetings. Notice. There is no explicit notice required for special meetings. However, it shall be the best practice to give as much notice as is possible to both the council and to the public. With 24 hours being the best practice. Reason. Upon calling a special meeting, the council requests a special meeting should give a reason. Calling special meeting should be reserved for time-sensitive matters, such as failure to SGT-SAC to act before the regular meeting would cause harm or generally be counter to the mission of SGT-SAC. Attendance. It should be expected that special meetings may not be attended by every member of the council because by nature, there are meetings with likely less than adequate notice. Failure to attend a special meeting should be because of conflict or otherwise non-availability. But a member's reason for not attending should not require the same 40-hour notice expectation of regular meetings to be considered excused. If there were ever either a Senate committee or chairship that SGT-SAC felt were abusing the process of calling special meeting, council should refuse to attend special meetings that was called, denying the ability of the special meeting to convene due to lack of quorum. Section 5, executive session. Agenda. If it is known ahead of time that executive session will be called, it should be added to the agenda along with the reason and authorizing statute. Reason. Executive session can only be held for a few reasons. The chairship should consult the accountability committee and/or MSU Denver General Counsel to make a script for the meeting when practical. Whereas this document references the accountability committee guidelines and procedures, various powers and laws, and the SGT-SAC Constitution. And these references will always be the most current version of these documents, and the links to these documents can be updated in the record of this resolution to match current versions. Therefore, be it resolved, student government, the Student Advocacy Council will adopt the above as guidelines and procedures of the chairship committee. Thank you, Your Honor.
Right, for this, did agree we would motion at the end of reading it to like vote on it. Do we need to read this? Guy?
I don't think there's any explicit requirement in the Constitution because we have to read everything that we pass. However, I will say this is procedural language, just like the procedures. So I would defer to the presiding chair.
I would just ask the counselor, we're good with not reading this?
Yeah, two or three.
No,
I was just gonna ask that to the council, so I don't need to say anything. Like, how does the council feel?
So I can get context of the situation. Has these guidelines never existed before?
Nope.
Okay.
back to Sky then.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, so guidelines and procedures are actually brand new. They were created at the end of last semester via Amendment 2. And so they're sort of new. And so these are the first chairship procedures and the first set of TSAC rules of order ever. Yeah, I'm happy to, really quickly argue for and then make a motion to approve. We worked on this for a while, and bringing on authors as we go. A really great way to ensure that the duties of the chairship are equitable and serve the council the best way. That being said, I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution and therefore the guidelines.
I second that.
We do have a second, so it opens up for debate. So Susanna, hey, you have a hand.
I think it's a really good guideline. The only question I have was on section 2 under the MSU Denver President Cabinet. It says, if the chairship should seek an opinion of the council on the cabinet business, if the question before them is such urgent nature, and the chairship cannot seek an opinion of the council matter before providing input. I like the after part, but what is considered urgent nature?
Business or response guy?
I'd say that's up to interpretation, which is how most rules are, have to be interpreted in some way, but that would be, I guess, by the accountability committee. So I guess you give a little bit of insight in the president's cabinet because I serve on that body, is that we typically get the agendas ahead of time. There have been times when we haven't had a final agenda ahead of time. So I guess that certainly could be urgent. In some ways, we just had no way to come to a TSAC meeting and give, hey, this is the thing. As well as if there was ever an emergency, the president's cabinet called within a couple of days and we showed up to it, it wouldn't necessarily be possible to skip an opinion of the council as easily. Certainly could be, but it's not as easily. And so if we're ever sitting at that table asking for an opinion and we don't have anything from the council, this basically just says that if you're in the situation, you must do what you think the council's saying. That's essentially where that.
That was my only question.
Patrick?
Yeah, just time system matters. That's what.
Anyone else? Any other questions? I guess we can move to a vote then.
I asked for unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
Abstain.
Fantastic. Cyrus abstains, and with that, what is it? Sorry, the resolution to adopt the chairship committee guidelines and procedure passes. And going.
Back to Patrick.
Patrick, I don't know which one of you was presiding, so.
It's Patrick.
Oh, well,
You didn't listen to my voice. Go ahead. Stephen.
If I may, hold the approval of minutes until later. I don't know if you want to go into that either. But I thought I'd bring it up because we're more than halfway through the meeting.
They're done.
Okay.
I'm going to look at them at a future date.
Yeah.
How does the council feel? Can we approve this right now? Okay, let's just do it quick.
I'll motion to approve.
The meeting minutes.
Yeah.
I'll second that. So second on the floor, we're up to debate. We have Faye
I
and
would say just because of the length of our new business and the fact that I at least personally haven't had time to look over them yet, I would like to table them.
Scott.
The minutes were not linked to the agenda, so we haven't had adequate notice to look at them. I would ask the council to table. I make a formal motion to table this item of business until the next meeting. I second that.
Okay. Seeing as there was already a motion on the floor to approve, we'll go. What was that?
I have a point of order.
Check here.
Under the procedures, if you're in the middle of a question and someone motions to table, that tabling question is being considered first. So it being motioned to, if you're accepting Faye's second, I would ask unanimous consent to table first before we decide the minutes question.
Well, we just voted on it. So. Is there any opposition to the motion of tabling agenda minutes of one of last meeting's agenda?
Wonderful.
Okay, is there an opposition? Opposition? All right, seeing as no opposition, any abstentions? No, seeing as there's no opposition, abstentions, motion passes to table our meeting minutes. Now we'll move forward to our resignation of UPMAC representative and appointment of new, I'm sorry, appointment of co-chair. I'm sorry, I'm letting y'all. All right, we're going to section 7, new business. Item A, appointment of co-chair of the Sustainability Committee, Sky Tilton.
Hi, last semester, I was the chair of the Sustainability Committee. I still am. I would really appreciate it if the council would give me a co-chair to share some of that duties, especially having more members now. And I would nominate Rowan to be my co-chair as the only member we had last semester. Accept the nomination.
Seeing as we entered into nominations period. Sure. Where we have one nomination for Rowan. Is there any other nominations or self-nominations that would like to proceed? Seeing as there are no other nominations, I'd like to motion to approve Rowan as our new co-chair of the Sustainability Committee.
I second that.
Is there any oppositions? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Congratulations, Ron, being a co-chair. Moving forward, item B, resignation of UPBAC representative and appointment of a new UPBAC representative, Matthew Rathbone.
Yeah. Back to this.
Yeah. Down a little bit earlier. So to clear some schedule so I can focus on other TSAC stuff, I was gonna step back from UPBAC. And I previously talked to Sky and I was gonna nominate them as my replacement.
I accept the nomination.
Okay, seeing that we entered a nominations period. I'll extend it forth for the whole council to either self-nominate or nominate another council for the UPBAC Advisory Committee.
Can I just ask when the meeting is?
This Fridays, once a month.
At what time?
Yeah,
But
I don't even know yet.
I think around 11.
Okay. I was just curious. That's fine.
Can I ask for clarification? What is UPBAC?
What is it?
University, what does it stand for? Planning.
Budget Advisory Committee.
I know what it is, I just. So many acronyms.
Everything's.
Stephen?
Yourselves.
I want to give you more context. So the University Planning and Budget Advisory Committee, we look at a variety of things. Specifically for MSU. The main aspect that they look for at MSU or they review are budgets. Universities have multiple budget lines. They look at general fund, there's auxiliary. The UPBAC committee primarily when it comes to budget looks at general fund. Now, they do have some involvement with student fees, but not as much as they do with general fund. There's also planning aspects to it, like the physical layout of MSU buildings, that sort of thing.
Now, is it different from our budget committee?
Yes.
Okay, so it's entirely separate.
This is a university-wide budget and planning committee. There are different folks senior leadership that sits on it, and we just have a student representative that sits on it.
Okay, all right. So I just need a little bit of clarification. Steffi,
Is this open for delegates?
this is open to them. Yes, as it is an advisory committee. So discretion reminder for delegates is it might be first nominations. Nominations, you can either nominate yourself or you can nominate another counselor, or counselor can say nominate a delegate to be representative of this. It will be up to that nominee to accept or deny that one. Scott?
Also, if any delegates interested in going with me to those meetings, I'm happy to go with you. You can certainly be my co-representative. I'd be happy to have a over to that. If it's something somebody wants, I don't want to add extra work to your plate if you don't need it. But just if you're interested in it, I'm happy to be a part of that.
I'm curious to see what it's all about. Can I join in? As a,
I'll nominate you.
all right. Not guaranteed, but I am curious.
So that's,
We have a nomination. Yes. One nomination, two nominations. One representative of
that's
that,
co-representative.
co-representative.
Did that pass the test with?
Okay. Seeing as there isn't any more eagerness to it, no motion, I'm here for a motion to accept nomination.
A motion to adopt, myself and Nathan. I knew your name. I would just give me a second. Myself and Nathan as co-representatives to UPAC.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second that.
Is there any opposition? Any abstentions? Seeing as none, motion passes. Congratulations for our new UPAC representative. Moving forward with item C, discussion of SACAB and creation of an ad hoc committee regarding student representation to Auraria campus. Led by Sky Children's. Take it away.
I don't have much to say. I just wanted to say that we have had one of our MSUs, like have reps resign. And we have an opportunity to fill that spot. I wanted to propose the creation of an ad hoc committee for us to start meeting and talk about that and plan that. How we're going to respond to the resignation of one of our SACAB reps. And also just discuss like representation to SACAB and area more broadly. But not making a formal motion yet, just opening the discussion up for that. Hoping our SACAB reps especially will chime in.
Before I have a motion to discussion.
I just want to ask that somebody, perhaps our SACAP reps, give some context as to why, like, the state of. I don't know if that's.
State of the council.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So as you all know, I've recently resigned from SACAB. There's a lot of reasons for it, but generally, I think that there's a lot of improvements that could be made to the state of student representation to the Auraria campus. And I think that that's an important conversation for student voices to be included in more broadly. I think that this would be a logical place for that discussion to be. So I'd really like to see the creation of a committee so that, so that we can have more of those discussions.
Thank you. Will,
I can give a little more context as to the situation because it's been going on for a few cycles now. Since I've been on TSEC, every cycle has had a sort of issue directly to some extent with ABOD. And after like this third year, I think it's worth discussing if that relationship is productive for TSEC because like, do we want to necessarily, because the Constitution obligates us to appoint 2 reps. With that, there has been a question prior if should we bring back those counselors to TSEC to work on TSEC's things or have their time in SACAB, which every year that I've been here, to some extent, there's been issues with representation from Metro on SACAB. And I've had to step in twice, 2 years in a row. Might be a third time this year, so I think it's worth discussing this at this point if it keeps happening every year.
thank you, Will. Scott, your response?
I know we have a laundry list of ad hoc committees that have been created this year, and now this is starting to be dissolved this year, which is very good because it accomplishes its purpose. But I would hope this ad hoc committee would be like, obviously open to all membership, anyone and everyone in the council can come to it. But I would really love to see like lots of participation in it and really have a good discussion about like, what does it mean to like advocate for issues at the AHEC level? Because we hear a lot about MSU things, we serve on so many MSU committees, and it's sort of sometimes hard to really get that input up to the AHEC and ABOC level. And I think it's a really important issue for like our students especially.
Okay. Willie. And then Nathan.
No. So describe to me what student representation to our area campus is for SACAP.
Context, SACAP. What is SACAP? SACAP is the student SACAB, so Student Advisory Committee to the Area Board. It's an entity created in the 80s, I think, by state law. It's a way for students, it's essentially a tri-institutional version of student government. And students give input directly to the area board here on the area campus. Because the area is such a weird entity with the 4 institutions and the area being one of them on the campus. And so there's 2 MSU reps, 2 CCD reps, and 2 CE reps that are all directly appointed by the student body. And so that's where we're at right now, is that we've had a resignation from the MSU side of things.
Okay, so that by student representation basically mean our council representation for this committee, basically.
Essentially, yes. So the same person board that sits in this room.
That will also be part of their board. Okay,
Exactly, that talks about ABOC, yeah.
okay.
That would be the. Is there any more discussion? Perhaps a motion? Scott?
I can make a motion, given I moved it on here. I motioned for the creation of an ad hoc committee regarding student representation to a area campus. Second.
Okay, seeing as there's a second on the floor. Do we have any opposition? Seeing as there's no oppositions or any abstentions? Seeing no opposition or abstentions, motion passes for creation of ad hoc committee. I would like, however, to appoint a chair or a designated point of contact for that.
Love to say that. I would love to see us get someone to sort of be the point person to lead these meetings. I hope to gain interest.
Make myself for the chair of this committee.
Rowan has nominated himself for position as chair themselves by self.
I just want to see how many people are interested in being in this. I feel like there could be an argument for a chair and co-chair on this.
Can we get a raise of hands? After check, see how many individuals will be interested in the ad hoc committee for decision of SACAP.
I'm interested, but not to the level of like leading it per se, like just being
Interested?
I'm the same thing as well.
Same as well. As a delegate, and I say I'm interested. Absolutely. Yeah. Delegates, it is open to delegates. Like ad hoc committee.
So, also, I want to say that there's I think having a person to sort of be the more secretary than anything to like set the meetings is more important than formal leadership. I don't know that this necessarily in this sort of space in this committee would need like a formal convening a meeting. But maybe that's not for me to decide, it's for the council to decide. But if we wanted chairs or leads or someone to set the date, make a chat, send the things, I think that's the important bit. I think we are like all interested in how we interface with AHEC, 100%. I don't think that's a question, but.
Seeing as there isn't any nominations to be the co-chair or chair of the ad hoc committee, is there any motions to vote for acceptance? Scott?
So were you interested in possibly being a co-chair of this committee? Is that what you've been your head? Part of it.
Yeah, just to be, like I said, I want to see what's more it's about. If I need to step down, I'll step down, but I definitely want to be, I'm interested in finding out more. And if I like it, I want to be more.
Is there any more interest in being chair of the ad hoc committee? Okay. Seeing as there's no one else, Rowan, you accept your nomination.
Just asking you this one.
Is there any opposition on Rowan being the chair for the ad hoc committee for the state cap? What is the process? No. Okay. Motion, any abstentions? No, seeing as there's no abstentions or oppositions, motion passes to create the ad hoc committee and have Rowan as our chair for the committee.
Congrats, Roman.
I'll move forward with item D. Is there any discussion points? Say Cap. Thanks.
Just also, Nathan, so you know, this is your third committee, so this is the last
Yeah.
one you can sign up for without stepping down.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, seeing as there's no more discussion has ceased, we'll move over to item B, Amendment 3, ensuring a consensual TSAC state cap appointment process by Mr. William Coates here. Please take it.
Me and Sky. So let's see. Authored by, I'm just gonna go straight into it, folks. Sky, myself, endorsed by Rowan, Susanna, and Matthew. Abstract. This amendment changed the SG TSAC constitution so that TSAC's internal requirement to appoint a member to SACAB in the event of a vacancy is removed. Therefore, be it resolved, the following change to the SG TSAC constitution is adopted. Article 1, Section 1 changes 4 words. So the Student Advocacy Council shall ideally consist of 12 MSU Denver students with a minimum of 10, where 2 of these council members may be Student Advisory Council to the area board or SACAB representatives, and one of these council members may be the Board of Trustee representative, and then it goes on. But as you can see, it strikes out those 4 words. The next portion, Article 1, Section 2, Subsection 4, it adds a sentence to the end of the subsection. Council members who hold the additional roles of SACAB or student trustee may choose to resign only those additional positions retaining their seats on the council. SGTSAC may appoint council members by simple majority vote as replacement to those positions. Article 1, Section 2, Subsection 5 adds a new bullet to number 4 to the end of the subsection. Council members who hold the additional roles of SACAB or student trustee could have those additional positions vacated but retain their seats on the council. SGTSAC may appoint council members by simple majority vote as replacement to those positions. Be it finally resolved, if there are any conflicts with governing documents of SGTSAC with the changes in this amendment, the language in this amendment will be the superior governance.
Thank you so much, Will. And seeing as this is an amendment, this is going to be a reading, so we will not be voted on this today. But this is a reading, so if there's any, I'll open the floor discussion, but there will not be any voting for this. Okay.
This is actually kind of on the amendment. It's kind of just a question about process for Mr. Accountability, Matt. Were to happen between now and next week after this first read, like a small change or whatever, we incorporated counselor input or something over the next week. Could the new version be presented as the second read, or would we have to do a new first? I don't know about precedent, so.
Let me check in with my committee.
Okay, that's just process question.
Since we're actually meeting after this.
More questions or comments, concerns? Okay, seeing as there are any more comments, this discussion is ended. I'll now end item B. We'll move forward with item E, discussion typically management project by Sky Childers.
Hello, I had this discussion on here because President Janine Davidson asked me to get her counselor and delegate comments and input into this utility reimagine project. In addition to reminding us of the upcoming town halls. So I ask that we have a sort of discussion here, since we do have time for it, about the utility reimagine project, if anyone has any comments or concerns they want to give. And also I ask that you send them to me directly. I will be sending an email up to Dr. Davidson tomorrow, and I need to be able to copy paste things in. So it'd be wonderful.
Hey,
Nathan? Yeah, I kind of got a question regarding the idea of the project. What is the goal for the project? Like, why does it want to come to me?
I can certainly answer, but I do think we have people that are appointed to those roles and could probably give a better answer than I could.
So typically me and currently Sai are the current representative for Typically Reimagine project. Typically Reimagine is, as you may know, this used to be 8 different buildings conjoined into one. Used to be a pretty historic site here in Denver. Right now, they're trying to do a whole rebuild of Tivoli and hence reimagined. However, when we have been appointed to kind of oversee the current designs, architecture, structure of it, and plans that they have by AHEC and other institutions that are serving on that board as well. Currently, for Tivoli Reimagined, being my time out as a representative, it hasn't, I wouldn't say it's been as back and forth with the committee that's on there. It's much more as if let's sit down and review what we have and then listen to everyone else, let the adults talk. So that's kind of how it's been. We can put sticky notes onto our opinions on the certain parts of the to reimagine and then to get back to us. And that's what we have right now. So it's just, I can provide the current architecture that we have, the current plans. I can see if I can either take a screenshot of that, put it into the chat. But currently we don't, it's been kind of hard to see our involvement in that.
Well, I just want to know, what is the goal?
It's to reimagine Tivoli.
Why? It doesn't do anything something else?
It's old.
Oh, okay, because like a remodel.
Doing so good.
Oh, so the building structure itself is not well.
Well, the building structure, like, you know, it used to be like 8 buildings. That's why like you have here, you have like a door leading to nowhere. You know, it's just like restructuring, rebuilding. Yeah.
Basically make improvements to the anatomy of the building, basically. Okay, all right.
Scott?
I have a little bit of context for some of the why reasons I was on this committee over the summer and for May of last year. As a delegate, actually, very exciting. But I heard some of the reasoning for the creation of this committee, the reason for the project. Essentially, there's a couple different buckets. Well, there's one bucket is that the Tivoli needs like substantial maintenance repairs that they don't, that AHEC doesn't have the money for to make. So like things that just have what you call it, degraded over the last 20 years. And so there's that part of the Tivoli Road. I think they're called like stage 1 or something. Stage 2 would be a fundamental reimagining of the Tivoli. That's like the big like meat of like the reason why it's called Reimagine as opposed to just like the Tivoli maintenance project. So the reimagine part is really the second half. It's not just the maintenance, but it's also like fundamentally changing a large portion of the Tivoli. I think that's the goal. As far as why, I have no idea why AHEC decided to like institute it other than they realized we
They
need to do maintenance.
so
Let's
might as
do
well
more work.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
think
they need
that's-
to do maintenance, might as well 2 birds, 1 stone. Gotcha.
Likewise, just put it in queue here. Likewise, there's no budget set.
Oh,
So.
all righty. Okay. I see.
Sorry, just because since we're voicing our concerns with that, I just want to say after doing some research, it didn't feel super, when I went to the Tivoli Reimagined project page, it didn't feel super transparent in a lot of who they are asking, who are they surveying. So it says something like they had targeted interviews with groups in the Tivoli, stakeholders across campus, student workshops. But I think they've only done 1 student workshop, and also there's no transparency as to who these stakeholders are and who are the groups that they're surveying. They also only did a survey where they got 1,300 responses, which is less than, I think there's 38,000 people that attend our area campus. So I think like to not even get 10% of that is concerning. And then for them to ask to have a finalized plan to send in March, it's just, I guess it just feels a little out of the loop to me. And I don't know why are they asking for student voices if it feels like it's on their timeline?
Yes, Sky and then.
I have a small little bit of context. I also want to like identify there's like essentially 2 questions. There's questions about like the actual Tivoli project, what's being planned, something you don't like about the Tivoli as it currently sits. There's that sort of input. There's also the input like how we've been consulted with the current plan. I think those are separate issues that are connected, but like I do need to send both of those informations, both sets of information to Jenny Davidson tomorrow. which I could postpone if it's important enough for people to really get more info. I'm sure she would understand that for a couple days. There's that. And then I forgot to say anything I was gonna say, so I yield.
Matthew.
I guess one of my big complaints is how our CU Denver neighbors are monopolizing the Tivoli and taking over ginormous chunks. For instance, if you all want to look right outside this window right here, there's this annex where you can't directly get into from in here. You have to go out and go through those doors. That is all being controlled by CU Denver. They have also now what? I was about to get to that. And then the new space that they took over is the Tivoli Underground, which is a space under the quad side bar. Yet, thing I find interesting about that is the only place it references the Tivoli Underground in an online space is on CU Denver's website, not MSU Denver's, not Bavaria campus, not CCD. So to me, that says that those spaces are not for anybody outside of that realm.
Dan was promoted for CU Denver. Is there any more?
Well, to piggyback off what he's saying, it sounds like this reimagining would be a little bit more beneficial because MSU is not the only school on campus and we are not going to be the only school. So having a little bit of reimagining will give every school that wants to be here on campus more space. And definitely there's like, in order to go up to this floor, you have to go ride an elevator if you're in a wheelchair. My debate club, I have a kid. Sorry, I'm older. I have a student that is in a wheelchair, so he would heavily appreciate being able to navigate through the building further. But I feel like not trying to include those in the Reimagine project would be kind of irresponsible for a campus to encompass for all three schools, and we need to try to treat the schools at least somewhat equally. It would suck if you're an MSU student, you don't get as much representation at MSU Metro. You know, the schools aren't paying for that. We're not paying for that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Direct response?
Yeah, to the paying part of it. When I was on the committee, I heard like a very explicit, like, how are we paying for this? The first plan for paying for it is asking the capital, to the state capital for money. I believe the latest intel is that that's never happening. Capital has no money. If they had money, they would give it to us. They don't. So asking for a capital construction request. The second theory of sort of the plan is that they have these area bond dollars that we pay $300 a semester. No, $120 a semester per person or something. That would be partially funding it. And they would want to add on like the corporate partners that they bring in. They would want them to in some way help fund it, which I imagine would be some sort of contracts with like space. No idea how that would work. They don't give us the numbers exactly. And then the third way to fund it would be to increase that student fee on top of what it currently is to help fund the project.
A motion to extend the meeting by 5 minutes.
5 seconds.
Second that.
Open up for debate.
On that specific thing, we have to pay for it if we go past 5:30.
Okay, so we ended it at 25 due to our adjusted to our agenda, so we ended it at 5:30.
Point of order, there's no debate on motions to extend, we can just vote.
Is there any opposition? Okay, so there's no opposition, motion passes, meeting will end at 5:30. Is there any more discussion for Tivoli Reimagined? Go Will and then Steve.
Quick more context to it is our neighbor CCD has also been shut out. They were asking for space for their student government and they never got anything for it. And so they're not about equal representation, if we're being honest here.
Yeah, Scott.
I think not only is it not going to be equal when this Tivoli Reimagine project happens, I think it will screw over every student, including CU students. I also want to call out that one of the biggest failures of it's really state law, but of the way SACAB is created and existed is that you have to be a resident for 3 years and you have to be a full-time student, which is really hard for CC to provide. Because proving residency is really hard for some of the CC students as well as full-time. And it's a similar thing for MSU as well. And I will say that CU excels at that compared to the others, which is one of the bodies they're using to get input on this project. Seeing that we are really close to time, we have 5 minutes left. I did want to just say that if you have comments on Chili Reimagine project, please talk to me. Happy to chat with you. I can do calls. You can also send me messages. I will make sure your comments get to Dr. Davidson. She sits on ABOD, and I imagine she will forward our responses to people.
Okay, seeing as there are any more discussion points, as Sky just said, just hit her up offline. We'll give you online too, but just hit her up. Thank you. Moving forward with item F, discussion health and well-being. Sky again.
This is just an announcement, and people can certainly give me any input right now if they have it. But the health and well-being fee, which is what funds some aspects of the health center, some of the free services that we get as MSU students, in addition to recreation and Rowdy's Corner. I'm meeting with Dr. Simpkins and with, I think his name is Steve, who is the Associate Vice President that runs that fee and sort of all these different areas on Friday. And it's just a personal meeting. I just asked it and he gave it to me. But if there's any counselor questions you want to elevate to that vice president level, I'm happy to forward those in that meeting with them. I know there's been lots of questions about Rowdy's Corner funding from many different students and areas. And I just want to make sure that I'm leaving space for like including comments and things in the meetings that I speak out. So.
Thank you, Sky. Hey. Hey,
A motion to adjourn?
wait,
I object.
wait. Unfortunately,
You don't have to accept that. He wasn't recognized. All I'm saying. I wrote the.
Todd, please.
Okay, I just have an announcement to make effective immediately at the end of this meeting. I'm resigning from PSEC. So there was another wrinkle in SACAP. I do apologize about that, but you know,
So you're also resigning from SACAV.
of course.
Love you, side.
Just wanted to reiterate.
Before you.
Okay.
That's really saddening to hear, that we'll be interacting with you less. I do want to let you know that I would ask that you notify SACAB chair and SACAB
I'm not
advisor.
left. I was gonna talk to you.
No, I know, but the official notification so that that can be official on the SACAB register, just notify Alyssa and Jared, please. But yeah, so send this to you guys.
Yeah, it's a personal reason. I don't dislike any of it, just so you know.
The personal reason for the. With you, side.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Dana, I recognize the second motion.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. It is still 5:27, so there's still 3 minutes left in this meeting. We've had a resignation of a CSAC member. What committees were you on? Could we see if we, like, make sure we know about that for the next meeting for us to think about appointing people? Do you have like a wrap up, 2 minutes that you want to give us on committees or whatever?
Thank you guys for the time, I guess. It's nice to formulate relationships. And yeah, this is, like I said, it's personal reasons, academic stuff. So, you know, that's where we are. Thank you guys.
And definitely, let's see.
And what committee?
What committees were you on? Typically reimagine.
Did reimagine,
Reimagine grade review?
grade review, and then technically the sustainability, or it's not sustainability, but like the,
Accountability?
not account. No, that was really,
Oh, strategic planning.
strategic planning, yes.
Oh, yes.
Technically,
Okay.
And then SACAP.
We can consider all those at our next meeting.
Yeah, next meeting.
Excited.
How the-
I second Faith's motion to adjourn.
Okay. Any opposition? Seeing as there's no opposition, motion passes and meeting has adjourned.
Kirby, can you check your teams? Sorry, can you check your team real quick? I second. Can you?
Okay with that.
Exactly, what, was that 8%?
Not very much. Yeah. That's real.